Hello everybody, my name is Lily and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to answer the question, is the Museum of Ice Cream's Pinkmas celebration worth your money? The rules are simple. I will be rating the Museum of Ice Cream on 5 different categories, all being scored 1 through 5. Those categories are quality, engagement, the food, the picture potential, and the price time value. With all that out of the way, I will see you guys after the Museum of Ice Cream. I am back, and a little preface, it was fun! It was a lot of fun. I have been to the Museum of Ice Cream before when it was not in a Pinkmas celebration, and it's good. I'm going to preface it by saying it is good. You should go. The Pinkmas celebration, I believe, is going to be going on until February. I don't know exactly when this video is coming out, but I know it'll be before February. I think it'll be sometime early December, I want to say. So go. Definitely go. Let's go ahead and get into the why, though. A little bit of background about the Museum of Ice Cream. If you guys don't know what this place is, they have a whole bunch of different locations, one of which is in Chicago, and the entire idea is that you get to learn a little bit about ice cream, take a whole bunch of different photo ops, play games, and eat unlimited ice cream. That's right. When you go to the Museum of Ice Cream, you have the option to have unlimited ice cream. Just go up and say, "Can I have more, please?" And they will give it to you. It is fantastic. I know I overate so much while I was there, and everything is pretty good. There's only a couple of things where I tried it and I was like, this is yucky, but we will get into that later. So that's what the Museum of Ice Cream is. Let's go ahead now and get into those rankings. For quality, I gave it a 5. It's well put together. The staff is really fun. They're all really well put together as well. Excellent job to the staff. Everybody was so much fun to talk to. Everybody was so nice. I absolutely loved it. And there was just a lot to learn about and to just enjoy in general. When you first go in, you're going to be in this little square room waiting for more people. And in there's a person who's going to call you their scoops. They're going to have a fun little ice cream name. All of the staff members have ice cream names. Mine was named Creme Brulee. She was awesome. She was asking us trivia questions. By the way, if you need to know, China is in fact the one who created ice cream, and Chicago is the one that created the milkshake, just in case they ask you and you want to be right. They will get everybody really excited. That's also kind of the way of making sure the next room is prepped. And then at the end, you will say, you'll say a phrase, I don't remember what, and boom, you'll be introduced to go ahead and make your own ice cream name, which is a ton of fun. I ended up going with Mintiplier, which is just a play on Markiplier because I'm not original, and the last time I came here, that was what my fiance did. I was like, I don't care about the name, I'm just going to do that. Then afterwards, you will enter a fun little fake train. You'll sit down, you hear the rules, and then you are more than welcome to enter in. And how the Museum of Ice Cream works, it is one big circle. You start off in a fun speakeasy, which is the only place you'll have to pay for anything extra other than the gift shop. And from there, you move in one big circle around the entire building. Each room has different theming to it, has different games, activities, and of course, ice cream to try. And because of how well put together it is, it most certainly gets a 5. In terms of engagement, it is going to be getting a 4. Almost all of the rooms I felt were a ton of fun to see. Almost all of them. Almost all of them, and this is where I'm getting into the banana room. If you've ever been to the Museum of Ice Cream, if you've seen any of the promos, you will see one of the big things they're going to show off is this room where a whole bunch of bananas are. And I understand this probably looks cool. It's not cool. The banana room is the worst room there. Everything else is so much fun except for that damn banana room. All it is are pink bananas hanging from the ceiling, these rubber pink bananas, and that's it. And the photos you get aren't even that good. I feel like there are so many better things you could put in place, but the banana room is definitely one of the things that gets people in the door. It's one of those things where they're like, what is that room? I have to see it. It's the worst room. Every other room is fantastic. There are games everywhere. In the very first room, you see, I think, after the banana room, before or after, I don't remember the exact ordering, is a room with jelly beans. You can see fun little jelly bean images. You can play Connect 4 with jelly beans, and that's also where you get your first treat. The one there was the Rudolph's treat. I'll be getting into all of the food later. I'll be doing a little mini ranking for all of that, so stay tuned for that. There was also golf. There's a little whole golf area. That area is also a ton of fun. It is themed with Chicago. I believe one of the last holes you can do is with a Chicago hot dog, as well as there is a room entirely dedicated to just little carnival games. There's one of those games where you squirt the water and try and see if you can get yours to hit the top first. There's basketball, and there is whack-a-mole. On top of that, there's this really cute photo op you can take as well on little fake carousel horses. So you're going to have so much to do here. If you are worried about this place just being a place for photo ops, I would not worry about it. Thankfully, it is both. There is enough substance for it to both be a fantastic photo op place as well as for it to just be a fantastic place to learn about ice cream. But I will say the learning bit is definitely on the lower end. In fact, I don't think I even have education as one of my factors in this, just because I knew it's not going to teach you a lot. Don't come to the Museum of Ice Cream if you want to learn a whole lot about ice cream. I can say there's only a couple areas. There's that entrance, and then there's an area that's actually currently being kind of sealed off because of one of the exhibits, where you can fold it up and you can learn about different kinds of ice cream. But that's it. This is not the place to actually learn. I don't know why it's called a museum. It's not a museum in the slightest. There's nothing that would classify it as a museum. It is definitely more of a photo, activities, and food type of place, which is fine. It's still tons of fun. That's why it's getting a 4 on the engagement scale. One more thing before I move on from engagement, I want to talk about the special Christmas pop-up parts that are there that is not usually there. The first one is a fun photo op where you look like you're in a snow globe. There's also just trees and lights everywhere. And the main activity for the Pinkmas is this fun little Christmas tree area where you can make little ornaments and you write down your Christmas wishes, and then you get to put it on the tree. I think that was really sweet. I put my own down. I'm not going to say what it is, though, because I want my wish to come true. But that is what the actual stuff is they add for Christmas, as well as fun exclusive treats. Let's get into the food. I have my laptop here. This is where all my notes are, and I have a lot to say about all the different foods. I have little mini rankings of 1 through 5 for all of them that I tried. I did not try everything, I will say. I did try a good majority. I did not try one of the ice creams in the last room because I didn't know if I was allowed to have it because it has bourbon in it. And I was like, I'm not even gonna bother asking. I'm pretty sure they probably would have, because I'm pretty sure it's just cooked off stuff. But it was not my thing. As well as another room was kind of a make your own ice cream, and it had like 4 different availabilities for flavor. It had the option to do jelly and an option to do toppings. So I only had one of those because I just did not want to do the math and have to try like 16 different ice creams for this. So I just did one, and I'll tell you about my experience with the jelly that they have. It's special for a reason. But I tried a majority of them. I tried everything that was free. There's also more ice cream in the Speakeasy, but I'm pretty sure you have to pay for that. So I did not try any of the Speakeasy ice cream, but I did try a good majority. And in general, I gave the food a 4.5. I gave it a 0.5 because I felt some of the ice creams were just not really that good. I understand, obviously, this is just my personal taste. That's why I still gave it a 4.5. But one of the concepts here I did not like, and we will get into that. The first thing you are going to eat is an ice cream sandwich, and you can obviously have as many of these as you want. This is for specifically the train area where you learn about the rules. Before you go in, you get to pick up a little ice cream sandwich. It is mini, and I gave it a 4. It was good. It was an ice cream sandwich. I thought it was actually better than most ice cream sandwiches I've had in my life, and that's why it has a 4. The next one you're likely to come across is the Rudolph's Treat, which is a cherry vanilla swirl with a cherry on top. I thought that one was pretty good. I gave it a 3.5. I'm not the biggest fan of cherry, but it was a good one for the first room. After that, you are going to be coming across the room where you can make your own ice cream. I ended up going with chocolate chunk with the little jelly and then marshmallows. Let's talk about the jelly. The jelly is the biggest thing of that room. It is essentially a jelly that hardens very quickly, so it becomes a shell, and I thought it was good. I don't think I really got the point of it, but it's definitely cool. It's most certainly cool, and it's fun because it almost instantly hardens on it. And then I really liked how this room also allowed you to just kind of make your own. I don't remember what the other flavors were. I went with chocolate chunk, mainly because I couldn't understand what the lady was saying, and I was too scared to ask her to repeat herself. But that's on me. But there are plenty of options, and of course the marshmallows are good, and I gave this one a 4. It was very nice. After this is the one where I had to take off points, and that was the hot dog ice cream. For one thing, this room is kind of confusing, and this is also kind of where the only time where I'd say the staff was kind of rude, not to me, but to the family next to me, because they had wanted the pineapple ice cream. This one has vanilla or pineapple, but they don't tell you until afterwards that you can only get the specialty ice cream if you order it with vanilla, which is kind of silly. Why are there multiple options for this specialty item if only one of them actually gets you the specialty item, and why isn't that stated? So that was weird. I did end up trying the pineapple ice cream. I'll tell you right now, it was a 2. I don't really like pineapple. If you like pineapple, your score will be much higher than mine. But that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, especially since the lady was really rude about it. Because the dad was there like, well, we didn't know about that. And then she was like, yeah, that's just policy. And that was just kind of mean. That family had no idea the rules. How are we supposed to know that only one of the flavors is actually going to get you the specialty item? Because these people, they want to try the hot dog ice cream. And in response to them finding out and just, asking for the actual one, they're being treated kind of badly. I did try it. I gave it a 2 as well, the vanilla hot dog, because it's legit just a hot dog with ice cream on it. And I was not down with that combination. To me, that feels like pregnant lady craving kind of food. And I was like, absolutely not. I can't imagine just eating ice cream on bread, essentially. But if you're into experimentation, definitely try it. The next one I tried was the big room with 4 different kinds, actually. This is the one with the bourbon, so I only tried 3 of them. I started off with the graham cracker ice cream. This is the only one that got a 5 out of me. It was so good. The graham cracker ice cream was to die for. I cannot specify that enough. Afterwards was the churro, which got a 4. It was a little bit too sweet, but to be fair, I've never actually had churros before, so I have no idea how sweet it was supposed to be. It was just a little bit too sweet for my taste, but still a great ice cream to try. And then finally was the black raspberry pomegranate sorbet. And this one I also gave a 2. I tried it, and I was not the biggest fan of the flavor. But once again, of course, when it comes to food, everything is by person, so I'm sure my ranking will be completely different from your ranking. But of course, this is my opinion in my video, so I get to have my say, and I say it was a 2. Finally, when you leave, right before you leave at the gift shop, you are offered a raspberry lemonade Italian ice, which I gave a 4. I was a little bit too full to finish it, but I'm a sucker for Italian ice, and this was such a fantastic surprise. Next, let's move on to Picture Potential. This place has photo ops up the wazoo. Other than the areas which are made for, pictures, like the speakeasy, that photo op room, the room with the bananas, and also the ball pit room is really good. I haven't even mentioned the ball pit. Well, it's not a ball pit, it's a sprinkle pit. I didn't really mention it because it's not really my thing. There is, in fact, a fun little, the equivalent of a ball pit you can play in. Just be careful when you're in there. Don't put anything in there they don't want to lose. If you have to bring your phone, make sure it's on top volume. That is my quick PSA on that, because I mostly focus on everything else. The sprinkle pit didn't really put too much into any of my rankings, though it is pretty cool. In general, though, the picture potential, fantastic. Everywhere you look, there is an ability to take a fun picture. So take advantage of that. This is a great place to make memories with your family. And if you are a mom, if you're like my mom loves to take pictures. She's never been to the Museum of Ice Cream, if I remember correctly. I don't think she ever has. Hi, Mom, if you're watching this, we should really go. This is your kind of place. My mom loves to take pictures, and this kind of place she would die for with the amount of potential photo ops. If you're the mom that loves to have a bajillion pictures of her kids, this is the place to go. There's so much to take pictures of. Finally, let's move on to price, time, value. You are most likely to only spend an hour to an hour and a half in here. You can spend more depending on how much time you really want to spend on those games, but this is a pretty fast attraction. It's a pretty small building to begin with, and on the high end of tickets, how I do the price time value is I look at the highest possible price you are likely to pay. I have a different section for like VIP/anytime tickets, as well as the highest possible tickets are always going to be adult tickets. So just know that the numbers I give you are for adults, and if you are looking at kid prices, it will always be cheaper. But on the high end, you will pay, if you want anytime tickets, aka VIP tickets, which also do come with a complimentary drink, that will be around $68 on the high end, which will come out to paying $40 to $68 an hour, essentially, for this place. But if you do not go for VIP tickets, this is likely going to cost you between $24 to $40, depending on the day. And of course, these are for adult tickets. which means you're most likely going to spend anywhere between, considering the highest end, you're on 1.5 hours, 20 to 30-ish dollars an hour, which is not the greatest, and that is why price time value has a 3. I would say it is a tad overpriced. Of course, there is free ice cream, which definitely should be a pretty big factor, but for the amount of actual stuff to do, ignoring the ice cream, it's definitely a 3 on the scale. It's still fun to do, but it's definitely not the kind of place where you'd come back often, is what I'm trying to say. It's kind of like Golden Corral, where it can be kind of overpriced, but it's just because, there's so much free potential food. And that's kind of how the Museum of Ice Cream has its pricing. There's a lot of free potential food, but that means I kind of ignored the other parts of it, and that is why it has a 3. Finally, let's get to the totals. The Museum of Ice Cream Pinkmas celebration ended up in an average score of a 4.3 out of 5, putting it just above average, in a total score of 21.5 out of 25. The only place that I ended up knocking the Museum of Ice Cream Pinkmas celebration on was engagement, where it had 1 point knocked off, food, which had half a point knocked off, and price time value, where it had 2 points knocked off. That does mean, though, that it got a perfect score on picture potential and quality, making this an excellent place to go. So, do I think the Museum of Ice Cream Pinkmas celebration is worth your money? Yes, I do. This is a fantastic place to go, especially since they have this really fun celebration going on. This is a perfect place to add in if you are visiting Chicago for the first time, or if you love to have a great place to take pictures. This is definitely one of the better places in Chicago that balances being a photo op and actually having to have substance to it, because I have my beef with certain places in Chicago where you go there thinking you're actually going to experience something, and it's just entirely basically just for photo ops. I'm not a big fan of that. I feel tricked. I will eventually make a video on the place I am talking about, but I'm not going to call it out now because I have more tact than that. I will just wait for a video to come along that I can make about it, where I will then dig into it and why that place sucks and why it's not worth $50. With that being said, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, do not forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!